Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and to every nook and cranny receiving the signals from our 100,000 watt transmitter into those magical machines known as radios, aka the Howard Reynolds boxes. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. Welcome to the entire world. Of course, we get people listening from many other countries as well. Hey, we're kind of lucky that way. Anyway, folks, over the internet, created by whom again? You, the people. We the people, but we have to take it back from the billionaires, the plutocracy, the oligarchy, the corporatocracy that is trying to control every aspect of our life. Before we get any further, let's go ahead and go to the studio where we have our two geniuses, El Señor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beba.
Well, it's Wednesday morning at the radio, midweek, and December 11th, as a matter of fact. And I was just thinking on my way in this morning, I've got this new sport of arguing with MAGAs on Facebook.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, this is fun. This is fun. See how stupid people really are. Okay, some of them do make sense, though, but not a lot of them. What's interesting is, if you remember when Trump's loss in 2020, and all the howling and screaming and hair pulling and oh my God, he was cheated out of his election and election fraud, election stolen and blah, blah, blah. The endless complaints and obnoxious comments from all of his supporters. Now, since he's won this election and the left are the liberals, the liberal people and the people who didn't vote for him are saying, this guy's dangerous. You got to watch out for him. They just, you liberals, you just wanted communism and all this other stuff, and they're not cutting us any slack here because they were the ones who were screaming and howling and pulling hair and teeth and oh my God, stolen election and you communist people, you stole the election from our darling little Trump. Now that the shoe's on the other foot, they're ugly, they're nasty, and they make horrible comments. And not one of these people has once said, we think the election was rigged because Trump got in all the way across. There is no claim of that. Not at all. So it's like, really? You're going to sit here and do all this, you liberals, you just wanted, free everything and blah, blah, blah. They don't even know what a liberal is. Most of them are so ignorant. If they look it up, they'll figure out, wait a minute, we like this value. So it's kind of fun. And they don't get under my skin, but I think I get under theirs. Because when they say, you have TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. No, it's Trump Awareness Syndrome. We are aware that he lies about everything. We are aware that he misrepresents everything. And we are also are aware that he is a convicted felon. So there you go.
There you go.
I end my rant by saying, Jack, please, what you got here?
Yeah. You were on fire.
I know. This chair is burning.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
Good morning, my dear brother. How's it going, my friend? I can't wait to hear your wisdom.
All right. Okay. The true danger of Trump's first administration is the 1,700 judges he appointed.
Yeah, hold on.
I say that again.
He's here.
The true danger of Trump's first administration is the 1,700 judges he appointed. The citizens of the United States are dead in the water because of the out-of-balance Supreme Court that is sure to do the bidding of the corporate elite. The chances of the citizens getting a favorable decision on social justice issues is slim to none. In fact, I look for the Supreme Court to pass legislation that is against the citizens of the United States of America.
Well, they already do that.
Well, there's going to be more.
Well, fine.
Well, since you brought, Jack, you have this canny ability to turn my first soliloquy of the morning into not what I intended, but what you want. I'm going to start calling you Trump.
Oh, no.
Okay, because
he'll just go home and never come back.
No, but anyway, I love I love that you brought that up. Okay, because I have a short soliloquy for that but it's very important, and you made me remember that I needed to talk about that. Let me tell you, everybody, for those of you, I'm a naturalized American citizen. When we came here, we had to learn the Constitution, learn the separation of powers, all that good stuff. And here's the important thing that always behooved me. The United States government is divided into three branches: a legislative branch, which is the House and the Senate together, called Congress; the executive branch, which is the presidency; and then you have the judiciary, which is the Supreme Court. And, when we were learning about all of this, and by the way, because I went to Canal Zone schools in Panama, and my last 2 years of high school was, in fact, at an American school, we learned all of that in Panama. So coming to the United States and getting my citizenship was rather easy. Now, here's a funny thing. That we learned that these are co-equal branches of the government. After all, the president chooses who he wants to be a Supreme Court justice, and the Senate approves that. But the only way a Supreme Court justice can be removed is through an impeachment that requires a supermajority. So that's a high level of independence there. The executive is pretty much the same. The only way a president can be removed is a supermajority of Congress to remove that president, and that execution, that judgment, is done along with the judiciary, who is the one who has the person in the thing. And then, of course, any congressperson or senator can also be impeached. But the magical thing is this, because what got me all the time is that these branches are not effectively co-equal. Because when a law is passed, the Congress comes out with this law that they want. The people, the Congress is the greatest representation of the people. And the president, as the person who will execute the laws that the Congress passes, goes ahead and checks off and says, yes, I signed this law into existence. Now, if those two branches can't get together, the branch who passed the law can override the president override a president's veto, not applying the law or not signing the law, with a supermajority as well. So we get this gravity of each institution being able to protect what it wants to protect. But here's a caveat. If you get a conservative president or a liberal president that stacks the court, in other words, as it is right now, most of the court is stacked with ultra conservatives, right? They have supreme power because of the following. It's not co-equal. If the Congress passes a law and the president, whoever that president may be, affirms the law with their signature, and some citizen comes out that has quote unquote standing, meaning they're affected by the law passed by Congress and signed by the president, that Supreme Court can say, I deem that law unconstitutional. And the country has no recourse but to acknowledge that law is unconstitutional. Why do I bring that up? We allowed Donald Trump, he's not a conservative, but again, he plays the role of one. We allowed him to stack the courts. What that means is, even if we get a hell of a lot of progressive policies passed that conservatives don't want, what they can do is bring those laws to the judiciary, to the Supreme Court ultimately, and have those laws knocked out. And there are several of those laws put in people on boats to maintain our environment struck down, allowing the organs of government, of the executive, meaning the different bodies that regulate, giving them the powers to interpret the Congress's laws, knocked down by the Supreme Court. So they have already started that process of removing true democracy of the people, and it's occurring right in front of our eyes. Whether if Kamala Harris had gotten elected and that bill that she was going to put into effect with Medicare, etc., there is somebody with standing could have gone to the Supreme Court, and if the Supreme Court knocked it down, doesn't matter that most Americans want it, unless the other president that came into power had the cojones to say, you know what, I am going to appoint a balanced Supreme Court. I'm going to add members to the Supreme Court. We risk a country controlled by the Supreme Court. What Brother Van Beber brought up about the Supreme Court is so real. And not only the Supreme Court, he brought it up about the entire court, federal judicial system, is the danger that we're in right now, whether Donald Trump is president or whether we get a progressive president. So those are things that we need to be thinking about as we elect more people in the midterms and as we elect a president in 2028. A lot of things to talk about. We have to educate ourselves on how our system really works, because if we don't, the plutocracy, the oligarchy, the corporatocracy, they understand our system of government. Most of us don't. We better clean that up rather quickly. I have more to talk about, but it seems like we have our first caller. So let me bring on Brother Patrick. Brother Patrick, the air is all yours, sir. Patrick, you're on.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Doing fine. I feel a little off topic, but you keep bringing something up. We voted for tariffs, and a lot of people know what tariffs are, but I mean, how they behave and how they affect the economy isn't really being talked about by anybody. One thing I've noticed, and I assume that you know, but one thing I've noticed is that you've said with surprise that Biden didn't roll back any of his tariffs. A very interesting thing about tariffs is it's kind of like Pandora's box. Once you open it, it's very, very hard to close. A good example is, have you noticed how those Volkswagen classic buses and vans are real popular? People like to collect them. Mm-hmm. They're very, very popular in the 60s and 70s. And so was chicken in Germany. And the Germans, for a very long time, were getting all their chicken from the United States, and they levied a tariff on chicken imported into Germany to try and help out their economy and to help out with their unemployment. And so what we did in retaliation was we put a 25% tariff on all their trucks. That's why you don't see a German truck in the United States anymore. That tariff is still on the books. It's over 50 years old. Once we open these tariffs, they're here. They're very difficult to get rid of. And what I'd like to know is what your perspective is. How does a tariff fit into a free market?
Theoretically speaking, a tariff is anti-free market, because ideally the way the free markets work is labor and production will migrate to wherever it's more efficient to get it run. I mean, assuming that you're linking capitalism to free markets. I don't, but most American economists link capitalism to free markets, and the definition of capitalism is defined as the efficient allocation of resources. Now, that as well is the biggest lie out there. I mean, the efficient allocation of resources, just look at healthcare and you'll understand that that's not the case. So my answer to that is that no, first of all, there's nothing free market about tariffs. Now, the thing about it is free markets only work in an ideal situation if everybody practices free markets, right? I mean, if Airbus is subsidizing planes with government expenditures, and the United States is not subsidizing Biden's with congruent expenditures, then as it turns out, the Boeing would be at a disadvantage. And the way tariffs should be used ideally is to find the calculation that tells you this is relevant to the subsidies that European countries give to this tariff will kill enough of them exporting over here to justify what Boeing would not have had to put it over there. It is an attempt at balancing, but it's not an easy task to do the balance. Again, and it also ideally would build up your production of something you want build up, because what it does is it raises prices, and that's what people don't understand. Tariffs will always be inflationary. There's no way, by definition, tariffs are inflation because it's an extra cost added to the goods that you bring in. Go ahead, Patrick.
Can I argue at one point?
Sure.
I think that there's one case that you might be wrong, and you're very rarely wrong.
No. I mean, I'm always willing to learn, brother. Tell me.
I appreciate that. That's one of the reasons why I like you. The way I see it is, if there are enough tariffs levied, and if the economy slows down enough to where people just don't have the money to purchase things, it won't cause inflation. It'll cause a depression, and that is a possibility.
Actually, you're right, and I think that is exactly what happened in 30, right? Yep. I think that's exactly what happened in 30. I think you're right. I mean, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I can't argue that point. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, a lot of people that I talk to don't understand that we had that our mode of paying for government up until 1913 was
tariffs. Yes, exactly.
And the reason why we walked away from it was because it was so inefficient, and it was bankrupting our government. And,
right.
And now the idea that we've elected again somebody that is anti-free market and is only trying to bring tariffs in to keep billionaires from being taxed is ridiculous. The way I see it is these tariffs are a different version of the flat tax. They wanted a flat tax for the longest time so that they could tax the poorest to the fullest. We give the poorest a pass on like $20,000 or something because they just can't afford enough goods and they need to have the basics. Well, the flat tax is going to get rid of that, and they could never pass that. So now they're working on tariffs, which will again tax everybody. There's not going to be a tax credit where your first $20,000 isn't taxed because people.
It's a consumer tax, yeah. It's a sales tax. You're right. Yeah,
we've got we go from paycheck to paycheck. So this is just yet another scheme to move the financing the government and the taxation down the column to the poor people. That's all.
You know what is interesting to add to that, Patrick, I want to add to that because when you put it that way, there's another factor here, and that is, and the only way tariffs can be used as a strong collective agent is if you import quite a bit. Because if you don't import a lot, you get a level of diminishing returns, right? So, I mean, it also has to assume that you're importing a lot from foreign countries because, again, the tariff is on the goods that are brought in from foreign countries.
And I should mention that he thought this was going to go over seamlessly, and everybody's pushing back. China's pushing back. Mexico is pushing back. France is pushing back. EU is pushing back. This isn't going well.
Oh, let me tell you, the best answer came from a woman. And that was the president of Mexico. I did a piece on that before, where she told him, you go ahead and put tariffs on us, we'll put it right back on you. And then she nailed him by saying, you're claiming that you're going to put tariffs on us because we are sending over fentanyl. It seems to me like the country with the drug problem is you, not us. And then she put the knife in the wound by saying, and by the way, the guns that are used in all this violence are not made in Mexico. They're coming over the border from the northern border. I mean, from the American border to the Mexican border. You're exporting death to us. I read that letter in Spanish on one of the piece that I did. But the most robust pushback came from the Mexican president, a woman. She showed a level of strength I hadn't seen. You know, we had Trudeau running flying down to Mar-a-Lago to be insulted and saying, why don't you become the 51st state and be the governor of the 51st state? She didn't take that. She sent a letter with exactly what she wanted to say. I was like, that's what Trump needs, a woman telling him what to do. Anything else, Patrick?
No, but it shows you that he has no capacity to look ahead or understand consequences.
Exactly. Well, look, thank you, my brother. You have a wonderful day, and I'll likely hear from you at 3. Have a great day, sir.
You too.
All right. Anyway, folks, today's topic, of course, it was first derailed by Brother Van Beber. And then, because Patrick was the first caller in, and Patrick calls in, we got to get Patrick on air. So anyway, we'll start the program by saying we're 22 minutes into the program, and the title is Mangione Manifesto Revealed, For-Profit Insurance a Waste. And Andrea Mitchell points out that Trump's DOJ's the real deep state. And I'm not going to cover all of these in detail because we just don't have the time to do so. But what I'm going to talk about the deep state and Trump for just a couple of minutes. Trump yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just had a comment about tariffs.
Yes.
And protectionism. Mm-hmm. When they're trying to sell these tariffs as, they're going to protect American jobs and American products. Well, once you do that, the American company says, we can get away with whatever we want to, because now we're protected under tariffs and their products are going to be more expensive than ours. But this is where shrinkflation has come in for many, many years. It's the American company that's ripping off the American public, not what they're importing. So now they're protected. Now it gives them a free pass to go, we can make crappy products and people will buy them because they're cheaper because we're being protected. And they do. I mean, the prime example would be Chrysler. Chrysler makes beautiful cars, but they're not very good cars. So Chrysler is now protected from Chinese cars that would come from Mexico or be imported from China. We're going to put a 100% tax or tariff on Chinese cars, which will probably be better than the ones we make. But now our American companies say, we're protected because we have tariffs on them and our prices are going to be cheaper, but our products are crap. So how does that work in? How does that make things better?
It
makes garbage. I mean, really.
And to even add to what you just said, let me show you that, we always, I hate to say dog the corporatocracy or talk about what the corporation is doing wrong, etc. But let me give you another sinister thing here, Howard, and because it piggybacks onto what you just said as well. Our corporation also knows that, I can help out the U.S. government and I can get a whole lot of cheap labor. Why don't I make a lot of products in Vietnam It's really, really cheap to make the products in Vietnam and then import them back. I don't have to pay all the expenses of the labor here in the United States and worry about regulations that protect the worker and regulations that protect the environment. I don't have to worry about any of that. Let me just manufacture the product for cheap in Vietnam. And the government is going to put a tariff on that product as it comes in. I get to inflate the price of that tariff, that product coming in. I don't have to pay for all the environment. I don't have to pay the regulations. I don't have to pay a living wage. I don't have to do any of that. I just have that one sales tax that you heard Patrick talking about that the government is happy with. I get a cheap product into the United States. I don't have to pay the workers. Hey, the plutocracy, the corporatocracy wins. The government, to some extent, wins, and everybody's happy except the middle class. And by us I shouldn't say middle class, poor and the middle class. And the thing about it is not knowing all these things, not knowing a lot of what, let's say, Patrick spoke about, what you speak about. A lot of people don't quite understand that because there's nobody telling them that. KPFT is, Politics Done Right is. They don't, So, we have to keep the pressure on, and we have to work against a mainstream media that is leaving all this stuff either nebulous or lying about it. And by the way, folks, talking about why you should be supporting, or why we ask for your support here. I just got my report for December as far as people contributing to the program for December. We're not in fund drive or anything like that, but people go ahead and, as they hear things that they like on these programs, they go ahead and send us in some support and attach it to a program or something. I got the report a couple days ago, and I should have said this yesterday as well. And let me just tell you guys, Politics Done Right had a big donut for December. First time I've seen a donut in any month on Politics Done Right in a long, long time. So I want to ask, I just got the report a couple of days ago. And I'm my God, Politics Done Right. It's already the 11th of December, and nobody has gone to kptft.org, donated in the name of Politics Done Right. I'm so hurt. We work so hard at 6 in the mornings to make sure to bring some stuff to you, and I'm at a big donut. It hurts. But seriously,
if nothing else, donate in the name of Jack.
Yes.
Because Jack is probably he's a critical employee here.
Yes.
He gets here before I do in the morning. I get here at 5:30. Jack is already here. Everything's already hooked up. He makes my life easier.
Yes.
So donate in the name of Jack.
But wait. You have to hold up on that, though. Howard, you got to hold on that. For them to donate in the name of Jack, you have to select Politics Done Right in the pull down screen on kpft.org. And in a little note, you can say, "Love you, Jack," or something like that, So please, kpft.org, hit that donate button, drop down to Politics Done Right, give in your amount, however much you want to donate, send a message to Jack, and that way, hey, we don't have that big donut in the morning for this show in December. And this is a given month. We didn't get any given Tuesday. We didn't get anything at all for the program in December. So I ask those of you that are listening so kindly, please support us. We do our work, and we make sure to tell you the stuff. I'm getting into the program right now. We're not in fund drive. So I'm going to get anything else you want to say real quickly, Jack or Howard, before I get into some more stuff.
Jack is screening your call right now, so he's getting somebody ready for you to talk to.
Oh, okay.
I put my 2 cents in, so I'm good.
Thank you, my brother. All right, look, folks. So I gave you the 3 things: Mangione Manifesto, Trump's DOJ is really the deep state, and for-profit insurance is a waste. And I want to start with the quick one, and that quick one is the DOJ. Donald Trump and Steve Bannon and all of them constantly talk about the deep state, and they have all their sycophants and their MAGA folks talking about the deep state is doing this and the deep state is doing that. They're investigating Trump and all of that crap that they talk about. a report came out yesterday. And that report pretty much says, you know what? I tell you what, I have a piece that I did for that. Since there are no calls on right now, I'm going to play that piece and then I'll come right back. You know, Donald Trump and his sycophants, Donald Trump and the Steve Bannons and all these other guys that are the Patel, etc., always like to talk about deep state, you know, as if the dedicated people in the government, somehow they want to constantly give trouble to Donald Trump or somehow always put him under investigation or somehow spy on him. But you know what we talk about a lot here? Whenever you're pointing that finger, there's several more pointing back. And it turns out that a report just came out that pointed out that the Trump DOJ pulled phone records and texts that were secretly gathered of congressmen, staffs, and journalists during his first administration. I want you to see how this journalist addressed it. Because Andrea Mitchell did a great job in sort of parodying what Donald Trump likes to say. And I think in the process, she made a fool out of him. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
In a new report just out today, the Department of Justice's Inspector General is criticizing the DOJ under Donald Trump. This new report lays out how in 2017 and 2018, the Trump Justice Department secretly and improperly obtained phone and text message logs of 2 members of Congress, dozens of congressional staffers, and then in 2020 got similar records from members of the news media. Among the staffers whose records were seized, get this, Kash Patel, President-elect's choice to take over the FBI. He was working various national security roles then. The IG report finds the DOJ failed to take account of separation of powers by seizing those communication records, using subpoenas and gag orders, third-party providers, including Apple, to get the records and to keep those companies from telling their customers. Ken, this is the secrecy involved here, and the fact that they were doing it on some of their own people and members of Congress.
Yes, Andrea, I think the most important thing about this report is that it serves as a warning as a second Trump administration is about to take office with a new Trump-appointed attorney general about just how powerful the Justice Department can be, what kind of records it can get, and the secrecy it can deploy in going about getting them. Now, in this case, there were some leaks of classified information into news stories in 2017 and 2018 about the Russia investigation. And line attorneys, line prosecutors sort of went off in bull in a china shop fashion and grabbed up the phone records and text message logs of 43 congressional staffers and 2 members of Congress. They happen to be California Democrats, Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, who were on the Intelligence Committee at the time. Now, the Inspector General did not find that that was improper. That was in accordance with the rules at the time. There are now rules that say that top officials at the Justice Department would have to be notified if something like that happened. But the IG did find that later, under Bill Barr, the Justice Department violated its own policies when it secretly grabbed up the same kind of records from reporters at the New York Times and the Washington Post without telling the journalists. There is now a policy in place that says that can't happen anymore, that the DOJ will not subpoena records except in emergency circumstances from reporters doing their jobs. But that's just a policy, Andrea. That can be rolled back by the Trump Attorney General. And that's the real warning shot here that this Inspector General report is firing, that there's a lot to be concerned about. A lot can happen behind the scenes, Andrea.
And who was the Attorney General when this first started?
It was Jeff Sessions, but he was recused. So he was not found to have been involved. That's the bizarre thing about this, is that the subpoenas to the members of Congress and the staffers were done by line prosecutors, sort of the workaday mechanisms of the Justice Department, without real consideration for the fact that this is a separate branch of government. They could have whistleblowers calling them about the Department of Justice, and maybe the DOJ shouldn't have access to those records without any warning.
I think we found the deep state. It was the Trump first administration, DOJ.
I love the way Andrea Mitchell said that. I think we found the deep state. and it's a Trump's DOJ. That was so funny. Anyway, it at least seems like we've got, by the way, folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 2, if you want to speak on air. And by the way, if you want to go ahead and throw a little bit of ducats for KPFT, a little bit of change to help us get the word out, you can hit number 1 and donate in the name of Politics and Right. Come on in, Bart. How you doing this morning, my brother?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing fine, sir. Talk to me.
Yeah, I was wondering, what was the name of the guy that wounded President Trump in the ear? What was that guy's name?
I don't know, but I know it was a kid, that pretty young guy that lived in that town that he was. It's close by in that town. Why?
Just, I want to prove a point about this Mangione guy. I don't care. I don't want to hear his name anymore. Who cares?
Oh, okay, tell me, make the point.
Deep state at work, your deep state media. You know, they made this thing up, blew this story up, and it's been talked about for 2 weeks. And as far as that goes, with the DOJ, did you ever hear the Russia collusion hoax?
Well, it wasn't a hoax. I mean, I don't know why you guys constantly call it a hoax. Bard, did you read the report that was made by you? No, it was
by Hillary Clinton, the report.
Sir, let me ask you a question. Did you read the DOJ report, yes or no?
No, I did not.
Okay, and therefore, please, I did. Okay? There was Russian collusion, and what Bill Barr did to fool folks is he came out with a 2 or 3 page report that was supposed to be a summary of the report, and it was to, he pretty much lied in the summary of the report, and then people went ahead, and after they read the report, I said, "Oh my God, it really actually was Russian collusion." So, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, but like I said, if people repeat the same thing over and over again, it tends to become the truth. The truth of the matter is, I suggest, before you ever say that again, that you read the darn report. It's 400 and something pages long. Read the report and notice all the Go ahead.
There was no Russian collusion between Trump.
Okay, so let me ask again. I want to show you that your thinking process, sir. Sir, I want to show you your thinking. Sir, I want to show you your thinking process. I asked you a simple question. I asked you, did you read the report? You said no. I said, I read the report. Wait a minute. May I finish? I said, I read the report, and many others who have read the report came to the same conclusion. Now, you didn't read the report. You solely rely on right-wing propaganda because you haven't read the report. You had to rely on something else. I am telling you, I read the report, and there was, in fact, Russian involvement. Okay, it's that simple. And for you just coming back and saying there's no Russian involvement and then telling me you didn't read the report, then, I mean, I think that's the end of the discussion, right? On that particular topic.
Okay. You come to all kind of conclusions. You believe what Tom Hartman tells you.
No, I actually, again, first of all, Tom Hartman is a friend. And secondly, I don't take everything at face value. I go ahead and reread certain things. Now, I also developed, and I'll be honest with you, I developed trust in certain sources of information. And I will do less research when receiving certain information from certain particular trusted sources. Now, every now and then, I may go, somebody may come to me and say, well, your trusted source made a mistake. And then I will go ahead and try to corroborate it or dispute it. But what I'm saying is there's a process. What I don't particularly like with, a lot of folks that come on to the program like you do sometimes, is that you just come with absolutes. You don't do your research. You just listen to what's been thrown at you. And I think that is why many of us have issues. So what I'm going to tell you, Bart, is try to go a little bit deeper, because I think you're going to find out that you're more on my side than anything else. But Bart, I got to go to the next call, okay?
I am on your side. But let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You said you went to Blinn College.
Oh, for one, yeah, I did go to Blinn College my absolute first year. And guess what, brother? I went to Blinn College to play music, but I always was going for an engineering scholar. I'm an engineer, but I could only get a music scholarship.
Well, that's my question. You went to Blinn, and most Blinn students end up at A&M. I wonder why you ended up at Texas University.
I got accepted by both. I got accepted by A&M, and I went to College Station. I drove. I had a little a car that I got there in Brenham, and I drove to College Station, and then I drove to Austin. And I fell in love with Mount Bonnell and all the things to do in Austin. Again, they're both great schools. Both schools are darn good. Both schools have great engineering departments. I just like Austin, the city.
Okay. I was just curious about that.
Yes. And by the way, the rivalry between A&M and UT is a good rivalry. We love each other for real. They're great schools and, great people at both schools.
Yeah, I feel like the A&M engineering degree is more valuable than the TU degree, but that's
why did you go to A&M?
No, my daughter's at A&M, and several of my kinfolk have gone there.
Well, you tell your daughter I'm proud of her. I am really proud of her, and we stood in solidarity when those logs. You remember when those logs collapsed and killed a few of our Aggie brothers and sisters? You remember that?
Yes, I do.
And we went up there in full support of our Aggie brothers and sisters. So, I mean, they're both, like I said, they're very comparable schools. And stop trying to have winners and losers with these engineering departments, sir. We'll talk tomorrow.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to thank some of the callers for wishing me a Merry Kwanzaa. That's one of my favorite holidays. I love to turn on the television on the day of Kwanzaa and watch the TV anchors squirm when they have to mention Kwanzaa and wish everybody a Merry Kwanzaa because they know it's a fake holiday.
Okay. No, wait. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. Betty and Eddie, I'm coming to you guys in a minute. Let's stop for a minute. I want to stop you for a minute. Why would you call any holiday, whether it's be Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, or whatever, a fake holiday? Why would you call it a fake holiday?
Just because it's made up and there's no
one. Wait a minute. Hold on. All holidays are made up. What makes one better than the other?
Well, that's the thing. The only reason they made it up was in response to Christmas.
Oh, no. Nope. Kwanzaa has its value, and it has its value in Black pride. Again, why is that wrong? I would like for you to think about why you have the necessity to look at another cultural thing and call it fake. Why do you feel the need to do that as opposed to understanding that in Kwanzaa, the different concepts, I forgot all the concepts, I wasn't born here, but there's something valuable that Kwanzaa offers. So why would you think that? As opposed to just say, great, we have another holiday to celebrate. You don't find don't you find that racially insensitive?
No, I don't.
Why not? Okay, and why don't you find it racially insensitive?
Because that's the reason it was made up, just to have a holiday, because they claim Christmas is white and they want Kwanzaa to be black.
Actually, that's not why it was created. But I can understand that if look, you see, and I want to stay here for just another minute. racists would put that into your mind and make you a racist. Remember, that's how things get mismanaged socially and racially. Somebody puts out that statement and then you then believe it and then you move on with it. Try instead, my brother Bard, try instead to give people their freedom to support, like, celebrate whatever they want to. That is the promise of America. Christmas, Hanukkah,
Do that.
on everything else.
That's the thing is when it's tried to be pushed on everybody, that's when
No. Kwanzaa is not pushed on everybody. I'm saying the decent thing to do is if I have a Jewish friend, right, and I know they're celebrating Hanukkah, just to show them a certain level of respect, I will wish them a happy Hanukkah. For a Christian, I would wish them a Merry Christmas. And, and for all other people that celebrate other things, that's what I do. There's nothing wrong with it. Try to think about that. Try to be more inclusive in your thought process. And wait, hold on, Bard. Try to think about more inclusive. You would be surprised. I spoke to you guys about the great Thanksgiving that I had. Okay, I call it Turkey Day. All right, the great one, because we had such a melting, I don't want to say melting pot, I want to say a salsa. We had such a salsa of cultures, right? And it was so great, just embracing everything. Stop being fearful. Stop being antagonistic about other things about the other. And you'll be surprised how much happier you are. But I got to go to Betty and Eddie, Barry. Let's talk tomorrow. Thank you for calling. All right.
Well, Betty,
No. I'm going to let you. I'm going to end with my statement just so that you can stew on it. We'll talk tomorrow. Have a good one, brother. Let's go to Betty. Come on in, Betty.
Oh, I was saying good morning, Howard. I was wanting to say something to Howard.
Oh, well, Howard is listening right now.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Howard, I have one of those low IQers. He's a nephew, and he called me a commie rat for 4 years whenever Trump was in there. And then when Trump lost, he was jumping up and down. And I call him, a piece of poop.
Yeah, okay. Maybe he's a little misdirected.
Yeah. But he was he's a snowbird. He came from New York, and he reached out to us. And I will have Christmas with him. And he's still, one of those want to be something or another, but he's good because of, even though I listen to whatever he said and whatever he called me, I am his aunt, and I am his aunt, and he kind of sticks with that. So he's a low Q guy, and I have on Trump, I have a memory like a steel trap. Trump is on women. He thinks they're wild in the saddle because when they're against him. When Kelly asked him a question of Fox, when it was she's a Fox News lady back then, when they were running for president, and she asked him some hard questions about him, and he said she must be bleeding. Our blood gave him life.
Well, Betty, Trump is a pig. That's all there is to it. He's a mannerless pig, and no matter how many layers of paint you put on it, he's still a pig. How much lipstick do you put on a pig? But still a pig. So he's always going to be, condescending, overbearing, and obnoxious, and rude. Yeah. So this is just who he is, and this is what the American people voted in. I don't get it.
Thank you. Betty, I read you, Betty. We got 3 more calls after you that I want to give everybody a chance. So close her up for me.
He's like, nobody loves me but my mama, and she could be judging too. You are so not here. Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful. You have a great day, Betty. All right, Eddie, I'm going to have to make the calls short now. Give me a quick one, brother Eddie.
I had two things to talk about, but real quick, the Kwanzaa thing, you make a really interesting point. I don't celebrate it. I don't know much about it, but giving respect to it because somebody does and somebody puts value on it, I understand that. I think that's a very good point. However, my issue, though, is when you say, okay, Thanksgiving, and you call it Turkey Day, I think that's sort of disrespectful to what I celebrate and what I believe in. And I think you can't have one without the other.
I agree. By the way, sir, that's a good call out. Let me just tell you straight up. That's a good call out. Okay. So when I'm around my indigenous friends or people of I will refrain from using Thanksgiving, but I think you're giving me a good call out that I must on the radio use them equitably. In other words, be able to say Thanksgiving without having a second thought. Good call out. Anything else?
Yeah, about the DOJ. So I haven't read it, but I want to say it kind of proves that the deep state exists, because the deep state is not about out to get Trump. The deep state is about maintaining the status quo, and that's maintaining fraud and greed and corruption in Washington.
Can we talk about this tomorrow, Eddie? Because I'm really loaded with calls, and we took here 2 points. Let's explain. I mean, let's expose that tomorrow. But another good point you were about to bring up. So let me talk to you tomorrow on that. Let's go to Melissa. Hey, sis, talk to me.
Hello, how are you? Hey,
I'm doing fine.
Hey. How are you guys today?
We're great, girl.
You summoned me up, of course. So I was going to save this for your 3:00 show, but to the whole Kwanzaa thing, yes, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas to everyone. But I wanted to talk about Kwanzaa because the first day of Kwanzaa is about umoja, unity. Okay, come on, people. Unity is what we need to have, and there's 7 days of Kwanzaa, because obviously everyone doesn't know who.
Hey, Melissa, you gave me the first day being unity. Can I ask a favor of you? Can you come on a morning and give us a full definition of Kwanzaa? Can you do that for me?
All right, love. All right, what? Yes, but okay, good. Good morning, everyone. Unity.
Thank you, Melissa. Unity first of Kwanzaa. Thank you very much, sis. Let's talk tomorrow, and you give us the whole thing. Let's jump to. Thanks, Melissa. Let's jump to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Yeah. Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, brother. Real
morning coffee. I no longer call it my morning Joe. I'm in the back porch, and it's colder than the breast of a bruja. When people call you and talk about other people celebrating their holidays, that takes valuable time away from you, and you're a resource that I want to hear about on major issues that are so much more important. Let people celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Let people celebrate Kwanzaa. As long as they're celebrating something, they're enjoying life, and it's great. But let's not waste time with that. Let's go back to major issues, because you're a valuable resource. We want to hear from you. I'm making this short because you got other callers. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your words, sir. I really do. All right, let's go to Harry. Harry, real quick again too, my brother. And I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope your brother is doing fine, and I hope you're doing better, sir.
Hello, Egberto Willis. My brother's lying here right next to me. I'm out of the hospital. He is doing better. But I'll make some comments about Kwanzaa. Dr. Malala Karinga created it in the year I was born in 1966. So I'm reading stuff right here, as Melissa was saying: unity, determination, responsibility, economics, purpose, creativity, faith. There are also symbols that crops, that, can holder, corn, unity cup, gifts, 7 candles. These are, and then there's the Swahili. I didn't read the Swahili words, but
Harry, I appreciate Harry. I appreciate your call. I appreciate you talking about this. Melissa going to give us a whole rundown. I think she's going to do it tomorrow. So I thank you for calling. Give your brother a big hug for me. I'm glad you guys are getting better. I got to go to Derek. We're running out of time. Thank you for calling, sir. Let's jump to Derek.
Well, quickly, I just want to say to the racist man and the racist woman, the whole world does not revolve around you and your ideals. Christmas is not celebrated by a lot of people across these. Thanksgiving is not celebrated. But I just want to say this one quick thing. I woke up with this thought. Roberto, listen to this. You can become so smart in thought, then you begin to manifest dumb. That's all I'm calling to say.
Don't leave. I love that because that is a whole lot of what happens to many folks on the left often because they don't reach the people for exactly what you just said. That's a very good thought that you woke up with, my brother. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I wanted to talk about the specifically for-profit insurance waste. I won't completely get to that. I won't get to that subject today. It's at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. But this is a topic with a lot of legs, and I'll be covering it over time, not only till the end of the year, but also all throughout next year. When Uma called us yesterday, Uma just made me a very happy person because she gave me the opportunity to say, you know what, guys, we need to rid ourselves of private health insurance because it's a con as well. But we'll talk about that another time. I need to throw this right back to the studio before we close this baby down.
Well, I've already added my 2 or 3 cents. Jack, you got anything? He says no.
All right, look, folks. Thank you, brothers. Look, first of all, thank you, Howard and Jack, for always doing a great job. To the audience, I love you guys, all of you. And listen, remember, I don't believe in tolerance. I believe we are responsible for accepting humanity. And with that comes allowing, supporting whatever folks do that's on the positive end of the spectrum. Anyway, folks, love you all. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden